What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're going to jump in with some Destiny 2 news and stuff to round up in this video. So firstly, we'll speak about Niobe Labs, exactly what's going on with this event, how you can get into Niobe Labs initially, but I also wanted to talk about the community's progress on the puzzle that will ultimately unlock the 4th forge in the game. This is something that's going to happen pretty soon, and there's some pretty cool rewards tied to this as well, which we'll also speak about. But then I wanted to talk about some new details about the Last Word exotic hand cannon returning to the game. We've got new details on quest steps, as well as stats and perks for the weapon. There's some other stuff to round up in game this week. We'll talk about Marasov's rage inside of her throne world this week, a secret area you can get into in the tower, and then a bunch of player support stuff, new information from Bungie about the 4th forge, the replayability of Niobe Labs, and we've got plenty of other content to talk about in this video guys, so if you do enjoy it, a rating really helps me out below. But now let's get straight into it. So first up, you may be wondering about Niobe Labs. What the hell is going on with this event? Well, of course, it did launch just yesterday into the game, and Bungie confirmed that when a team completes Niobe Labs for the first time, it's actually going to open the 4th forge in the game for every player. So right now, we're waiting for somebody to finally figure out all of the puzzles for Niobe Labs. But in terms of the location for Niobe Labs and the 4th forge, it's actually in the very south part of the European Dead Zone map. So you've got the Sojourner camp that you can see right here. And if you're driving from the outskirts, essentially you go over the bridge, you follow the road all the way up until you meet the camp, and then at the very top you'll find another bridge over a gap, and if you follow this path you'll eventually find yourself at Niobe Labs. Now inside of Niobe Labs essentially is a ton of different puzzles, and much like the other forge puzzles that we've seen, these contain a bunch of different symbols, and right now we're relying on the bow, the sniper rifle, and the heavy machine gun from the forge to actually shoot these symbols and input a series of different codes. I'll link a Reddit post down below with the known codes so far to actually unlock this. There is one that you'll need to put in to actually wake Niobe Labs up, so you'll need to shoot the stone symbol with Tatara Gaze, the wind symbol with the Spiteful Fang, and the fire symbol with the hammerhead in very quick succession, and you'll get an audio cue, and this is just the first of a series of other puzzles. Like I said, I'll link that down below. Currently, the furthest that anyone has got is up to level 6. As far as we know, there are 7 levels, so essentially, we probably need 2 more bypass codes before anyone will clear the Niobe's Torment mission, and this is when we'll get access to the Berguzia Forge, so it seems pretty likely that it'll probably happen in the next day or so. But in terms of replayability for Niobe Labs, Bungie said, once completed by a single fire team, the final forge unlocks for everybody. Niobe Labs will still be able to be attempted though. So Niobe Labs itself isn't actually going anywhere, and Berguzia Forge, the forge that we'll all ultimately get to play, is actually behind the huge door inside of Niobe Labs. So some folks have actually had it glitch out. For some folks, the model for the door hasn't been present, so you can actually see through into the forge. So it looks like we'll have to run through Niobe Labs, straight through the big door once it opens up, to do normal Berguzia Forge ignitions. And in terms of the rewards here, there is an interaction that Ada 1 has, where she rewards us the key mold for the Black Armory key after a completion of Niobe Labs. So it looks like potentially, once it's cleared, she's going to offer us the key mold and send us into the Berguzia Forge, and ultimately from this we should be able to grind out and unlock Mysterious Box. But there has been a bit of community frustration about Niobe Labs. Of course, for solo players, obviously right now, Niobe Labs is pretty much a no-go. You've got very difficult enemies, but you also have a series of different puzzles that are being put in by multiple players in different levels, and I have seen some frustration from players who expected to be able to access new content on January 8th, of course, when Niobe Labs launched, which I can absolutely understand. I think it's going to be really cool when it does finally get opened up, but let me know your thoughts about it down below. There has been some very mixed feedback on the subject. However guys, I'll keep you posted on progress in Niobe Labs, and as soon as it does open up, I'll be sure to let you guys know exactly what content we can access, all the quests and good stuff like that. Quick heads up, yesterday I posted my reset video, and shortly afterwards Bungie actually updated the Nightfalls, which many of you guys let me know about. So the Nightfalls have been updated, and now we have the Corrupted, as well as Will of the Thousands available. So if you're grinding any specific loot from those, of course people are hunting different titles, then it's going to be a good time to jump in, and happy hunting. Up next though, let's talk about some other stuff for the week. So we have some new information about the Last Word. So these actually come from Jinsa on Reddit. They've put together some infographics and data mined a bunch of content about the weapon. So these are Jinsa's images right here, but we can see this is the Last Word in Destiny 2. You've got the intrinsic perk, Fanfire. The weapon can be fired quickly and continuously with faster reload and increased accuracy on successive hipfire damage. It's also going to feature corkscrew rifling, accurized rounds, hipfire grip, and textured grip. And we can see those base stats on the weapon right there. They look somewhat similar to what we had in D1, and from this we could get a rough idea how the weapon might compete against things like Not Forgotten, The last word does kind of fit into that archetype, 180 rounds per minute, but then of course its exotic intrinsic allows it to behave differently to other weapons. We've got the cool flavor text as well. Yours until the last flame dies, and all words have been spoken, Shin Malfur to you, as you journey forth into the unknown. There's also the lore on the right hand side there, and we can see the ornament for the weapon, the laconic ornament. Once again, these are Jinsa's infographics, which I'll link in a Reddit post down below. But for the exotic quest, firstly we'll receive a tainted artifact. We don't know all of the details about these steps yet, but we'll need to purge the artifact of its sickness. Then the Drifter will send us into the Crucible to defeat Guardians. This will be to feed the weapon with light. Getting flashbacks to Thorn right there. Then there is a mission called the Damnation. The step called New Jagged Purpose, where we'll find a Guardian's helmet penetrated by a unique bullet. And of course that is in reference to the Thorn bullet. We'll need to collect etched crystals from Lost Sector wanted escapees, earn best served cold and blood for blood medals in the Crucible, defeat Hive with precision damage to collect larvae, and sacrifice Hive bosses summoned in Witches' rituals. Then finally we'll need to track the Hive Weapon Master, jump into a mission called the Conversation where we'll defeat the Hive Weapon Master, and then finally obtain the Last Word. So that's going to be cool if you're looking forward to Last Word returning on the 29th of January. Then we now have a bit of a better idea of how it's going to perform in D2. Up next though, Marasav is present in the Queen's Court this week, and the battle between our ghost and the Queen rages on. Safe to say Marasav is not happy this week, but a couple of weeks ago I mentioned in one of the Oracle offerings there was some dialogue from the ghost where he was very frustrated with Marasav. He was essentially challenging her and asking her why she wasn't present, why she wasn't doing anything to save the city, of course the Dreaming City, and this week inside of the Queen's Court the conversation between our ghost and an angry Marasav continues, so check this out.
So, you know how to rule, do you? You understand the sacrifices I make. You speak of good queens and absent rulers, little light, so you must know these things. Speak! What should I do when my every action is in service of a future that benefits you? You do not know me, or the things I do. Do not dare to presume. You have not earned the right. Get out of my sight.
So firstly, the ghost is definitely not happy. Secondly, Marasav doesn't respond very well to such criticism. Mara's cynical view of the Guardians continues as always, but this time we get to see some of Marasav's frustration. So this appears to be just a piece in the puzzle. We can surely expect some kind of conclusion in Dreaming City based on the way that the story has progressed. We saw the resurrection of Aldrin as well, let's not forget. There's been speculation about Hunter Vanguard and all that kind of stuff. Regardless of that, whatever happens, Aldrin's return, and the cycle of story in Dreaming City is definitely going to come to some kind of conclusion, so I'd be curious to hear from you guys where you think this is all headed. Up next though, recently I spoke about a hidden room that you can see in the tower, and this is in the annex, actually opposite where Ada 1 is housed in the Black Armory. And of course you can see through the gate, you do see a Gambit Bank. Pretty bizarre stuff. I pointed out in a recent video that we actually see a Guardian walking past this room, but it is opened up, and that Primeval Summoner is actually active. And this was from the annual pass vidoc, so at some point in the future, this area is going to open up, potentially in Joker's World, but really it could happen in any of the upcoming updates. However, it is possible to glitch into this room a little bit early. So just to show you right here, you'll actually need the Floor is Lava challenge initially. Of course, this will give you the quickness buff, which you can use to actually do this glitch. So you start the Floor is Lava challenge in the tower. Of course, you need to use pipes and boxes and things like that to make your way to the Beam of Light to complete this challenge. Once you've got there, you'll get the quickness buff, and now you can actually head down. We're going to go to the courtyard with Akura next to the annex. And if you jump up to this platform near Hawthorne, you can actually leap up onto the roof right here. This can be a little bit tricky, but when you're here, you want to move to the right-hand side, then move back into the left and jump, and you should be able to break an invisible wall. So now you can just head on straight over, jump down onto the roofs you see straight in front of you, head to the left-hand side, and what's below us are various ceilings and rooftops above the annex. If you drop onto the platform I'm showing you right here, this will load the annex up, and then you can actually jump up a little bit higher. You can see the rooftops that I'm going to here. If we move forward and then look to the right, this is actually the secret room that has the Gambit Bank. So if you jump onto this roof, you can see through some of the gaps, and in the back sides right here, you can actually drop through these gaps to get a better look inside of the room. So I just briefly wanted to show you guys how you can do that. You can't really explore all that much inside of the space, but of course you can get a look around. We'll see that Primeval Bank once again, and on the left-hand side, we can see a stool with various parts of this bank. So it looks like it's actually being repaired in some way. And once again, we know that this will become active. There will be an active primeval spawner inside of the tower at some point. So this will almost certainly be a new part of the social space, which houses a vendor in the future. And I'm guessing as well that there'll be some kind of story behind that Gambit bank being in the tower whatsoever. So let me know your thoughts about that. You can check it out if you want to. The very final thing I wanted to round up would be some player support stuff from Bungie. So of course, they've been away for the holiday breaks. They'll actually be back later on this week. But of course, firstly, the Dawning actually ended just a few days ago. Eva's holiday oven has been removed from the Pursuits inventory, as well as all Dawning recipes, and the incomplete Dawning Cheer Sparrow upgrades have been removed from Pursuits inventories for all players. They also add that the Happy Dawning and Dawning Dare perks on the Dawning Cheer Sparrow are no longer active following the conclusion of the Dawning, and any incomplete or unclaimed triumphs from Dawning have expired. So do bear that in mind. In terms of known issues for Forsaken and Season of the Forge, Bungie are currently tracking some Forge key issues. They're investigating an issue where Forge keys may not be counting towards the mysterious box. In addition to the existing issues with 801 weapon frames, where players may lose access to weapon frames during the week, we are investigating another issue where weapon frames are not received when a player's pursuit inventory is full, but materials are consumed anyway. We're investigating problems with the calculated trajectory medal in Iron Banner, kill tracking problems with the Masterwork No Feeling Scout Rifle, early cancels on Memento Mori for Ace of Spades, and a couple of other weapon issues which you may spot there. We have touched on those recently. For today though guys, that is going to summarize the video. So a lot of different information in this one. Of course, Niobe Labs has turned out to be something that we didn't quite expect, and I'll keep you guys posted on progress. Once again, let me know your thoughts about Niobe Labs and the way it's kind of rolled out, or any of the other stuff we've covered in this video guys, but if you have enjoyed it, a rating is very much appreciated down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more D2 content. But for now, whatever you guys get up to, I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll catch you very soon.